We are here on Cheyenne Country, and what a privilege to have Irlene Mandrell. Irlene, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for letting me
You
be
look
on.
absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
and you have, to be so young and youthful, you have had quite a career, though.
Thank
I mean,
you.
started off as a model.
I'm laughing because I know in any girls, like a couple hours of makeup. Yeah, I'm trying to look pretty
You
good.
look
Thank you. That's so
fantastic.
sweet.
Tell us how it all started for you, because we know you from Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters and Hee Haw and the other things that you've done. But there was a starting point in all of that. What was that?
And I'm going to try to make it really quick.
No, take your time.
But
We want to know.
but I actually started on the road with Barbara. And Louise and I started at the same time as the original Do-Rights. The name of her band was the Do-Right.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
I was 11 playing drums, and the first place we went was Germany.
Wow.
And we had played a couple shows in the States with Barbara, military shows, and we went to Germany to work military bases and loved it. And it will always be a special time in my life because Dad actually fronted for Barbara and worked for her, but he didn't go on this trip. It was just the three of us and a guitar player.
Yeah.
And we ended up staying a couple extra months, you know, because Barbara and Louise are such great entertainers. So I was just back on drums. And because they did a great show, they kept adding bookings and stuff, but it was a lot of fun.
And you were only 11 at
I
the
was
time?
11.
Wow.
Louise and I were left at home. Well, left with my aunt and uncle, and that was fun. She had a pool. They had a pool, and it was great. But we missed the family, and it was my dad's band, and it was in the '60s, and they went during the Vietnam War.
Right.
They didn't go USO. They went to places that normally didn't get entertainment.
Wow.
And we heard a lot of stories, great stories from that, but we missed being there because we were too young to go, and we weren't in the band yet. And Louise kept saying, we got to work on our instruments, so we won't be left anymore. So when we got old enough and joined the band, and by then Barbara started recording, it was quite a few years on the road with Barbara, a lot of fun.
I have to ask you, do you still play drums at all?
Now and then.
Yeah.
You know, we put together a little
Do you have
tape.
a trap set at home?
I do, and right now it's probably scattered around because with my son being a drummer too, you know, kind of things get borrowed, and then I'll borrow them back and stuff. But we put together a little tape for fun with my kids, and because they all sing. Also, I told my son that's a drummer, I'm going to play drums on this one because it was kind of difficult, and I thought it would show off a little bit. Just, you know, normally I just get to play a solo, so I got back and played a little bit and woodshed, and I loved it and said, I'm going to keep doing this. That was about 2 years ago.
Wow.
I probably haven't done it since. You know, you keep doing what's right there, you know, as it comes, because life is busy, right?
Yeah.
And right now, this afternoon, actually, I was practicing a little mandolin because I'm going somewhere. We're going to do a little bluegrass, and I don't play the mandolin, so it took a lot of practice. I'm definitely not going to.
Any other stringed instruments?
No, I've always played. Well, I played vibes when it came along.
Yeah, right.
When we were doing this show and the girls played so many instruments and they started counting each week how many instruments we played, we kept adding. And at the time I learned a little mandolin.
That part.
Well, I can strum and I can hear chord changes. I just had to memorize chords. But then with the vibes, I found that I could do some picking because I could play the runs as a drum solo and remember where it went. But you do other things and you don't keep it up, and you got to relearn every time you want to do something.
As a drummer, though, you said you still have a set of drums at home. Do you want to just get on them and when nobody's around and see what you can still remember?
When I was going to do this song, I had my son set up the electric drums.
Right.
And I could put it in my ear and learn to play, and, and you could hear the tone, and nobody could hear. And he got time to practice it on stage. And we're like, it doesn't seem the same because then it was on a real set, and it didn't feel the same at all. And then I realized that I didn't really have my drumming turned up. I sounded so good because I was hearing the drummer on the record.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
That's the blonde thing. So I relearned it and I got it because I did play along and knew the licks. So I had to get the tone. But let me tell you about a project I'm real happy about.
Yeah.
I had never been the one that recorded.
Right.
You know, I did the Hee Haw and I've done some projects where I was spokesperson for
Yeah.
different companies.
Right.
But I was doing some benefits for different ones, like for military.
Yeah.
You know, like this one in August, I'm doing the Stand Down program here,
Right.
and we've done the Wounded Warrior projects where you're
Yeah.
doing concerts and singing a little bit. And there was some other dates coming up, and somebody said, "I want to promote it with your CD."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Do you know me? I've never had a CD. You know, I've sang on show when I'm dancing and performing, but I haven't really recorded." But I thought I've heard some songs that I really like,
Yeah.
and I said, "You know what? I would love to do a CD
Yeah.
about family, country, and God,
Yeah.
and dedicate it to our military, because that's where my heart is."
Sure.
And so we started working on the album, and there was a single or a song that we wanted to do as a single. We said we might as well put a couple out
And
before
who's producing this?
The
for you?
producer is Pat Holt, who has been a producer
Oh,
and
yeah.
engineer in Nashville. He hates for me to say how many years. It's
Pat
been
is a talented
forever,
guy.
ever, yes, forever. And I've known him for about 30 years. But I actually did a project for somebody else just as a reel, a pitch reel for them.
Right.
And it happened to be at Pat's studio, so we reconnected.
Yeah.
And at the time I knew him, he was married and I was married. So after we got to know each other, we've been dating for over a year now.
Wow.
And also he is now my fiance.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, so it was natural for him to help me with this
Yeah,
project. I can help you with that. And so we put out the single, and I wanted this single. He and I felt very close to it. It made me cry when I heard the words. The words were so strong to me. And when I talked to the writer, who is from Nashville, his name is Eric Horner.
I know that name. Yeah.
He's done quite a few military songs
Yeah.
and preacher, and he told me that he wrote it in 15 minutes the night the towers fell.
Really?
That's why
Wow.
the emotion I felt when I heard the song.
And the name of the song?
We Will Stand.
We Will Stand. Yeah.
And I hope that because I felt the emotion, I hope I got it across
Now this
to the people
single is
when I
out to
sing
radio
it.
now?
It is.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Hope we can have the opportunity of having it here on the television show too.
I would love for you
Yeah.
to play it. Thank you.
Well, it would be an honor, and the honor is having you here and doing the conversation with us. So good to know you. I know you are a multi-talented young lady with a heart of gold. I've already heard all of that about you, and it's very true. It comes out. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Irlene
having
Mandrell, it's a
me.
real pleasure. And we'll be back with more of Cheyenne Country right after this.